Timer's ready. Scorer's ready. On your mark, get set, go!
Hey, welcome back to the Glycogen Cycling channel. So, in light of the news of the death of Kobe Bryant yesterday, I just wanted to take a moment and just extend my condolences to the family and friends of Kobe Bryant, but also take a moment to thank you guys for, supporting me, watching these videos, liking, commenting, all that good stuff. I really appreciate that, and it sucks that it takes, a death of an important person to make you realize that a little more, but it just makes you appreciate your friends and family a little bit more when things like that happen. So appreciate you guys, and I just wanted to let you guys know that. And also, if you've been following me on Instagram, you probably saw that I was doing a race last weekend, and you may ask why I didn't post a video. And the main reason is because I crashed 10 minutes into that race, unfortunately, and it was actually a pretty bad crash. People got hurt really bad. So I had to go to the hospital, get some stitches, and just don't think it's appropriate to post that footage, so I'm not gonna post it. But I'm back with you today for a little throwback video because I don't really have any new footage to show you guys, so I'm gonna go back in the old hard drives and pull out some footage I never before seen. So if you like this kind of video, these little throwbacks, give this video a comment, let me give it a thumbs up, and maybe I'll do some more of them because I got plenty of footage that I've never put on YouTube before. So in this video, it's kind of going to be a beginner style video of how to finish a real hard race and basically go over what I did wrong and why I didn't finish this race. So for those of you who don't know, this is the Joe Martin stage race from 2018. So this is the last stage, stage 4, and this was a really hilly and technical crit and also windy, which made it even harder. So here's the end of the first lap. We're going up this really steep climb, which is the main feature of this course. And I think it gets up to, 8 or 9%. So real steep. And the race was, I think, 19 laps. So, 19 times up this is not fun, especially after the first 3 stages, which were 2 road races over 100 miles and an uphill time trial. So definitely a hard stage race, and this is where the really strong, the strongest guys in the US come to this race. And being a new Cat 2, this was my first year as a Cat 2, I was thinking I was, super, super strong. I was crushing it, but this race gave me a little check of reality, if I have to say so. So here we go. We're going onto this corner out in lap 2, and this section was really, really difficult, and it may not seem like it because it's downhill, but we have just a wall of wind coming over our left hand side. So you can see where I'm at right now is actually a really good position because I'm actually blocked from the wind on over my left hand shoulder, so I can go through that section without having to pedal super, super hard. And then here we're coming in, we have a headwind section, so it's really important right here to make sure you are directly on the wheel, because if you're not, since it's a downhill with a really strong headwind, if you're not right on the wheel, you're gonna get gapped pretty quickly and have to put in a big effort to try to get back on the field, because the gaps open really quick when you're going 30 plus. So the first couple laps were good, but again, I'm like hurting at this point. I don't know if I just didn't train enough going into this. Again, this is in April, so being from Chicago, all the races or all the training I did was inside. So, and this was kind of the beginning of the end. This guy kind of got in my way, and I didn't get to take a great line out of that. And because of that, I had to do another huge effort where this section should really kind of be just preparing for that uphill. And I kind of learned from that last corner and took that inside to push that guy wide because I knew he wasn't taking super great lines. So that's one thing you got to pay attention to when you are in races with other guys. You need to realize who's taking good lines and who's not, and basically get away from the guys who are not taking super great lines. So yeah, so here we going up this hill again, and this course is kind of interesting because the whole point or the main feature is going up this climb, and then the technical section is kind of like a recovery zone. So everyone goes super hard up this, as you see, and then the next section through there is like kind of chill, honestly, and you try to get your breath a little bit because once you go around that last turn into that crosswind, it's like game on, basically. And looking at my power, like compared to now, I feel like I could do this race like completely fine, but I was definitely hurting at this point, as you're gonna see in a couple laps. Like I got totally dropped hard, but we're gonna break that down and show you kind of why that happened. So here we go. Again, this section is really windy, so it's probably best if I was like more on the right hand side of the road and kind of even was like directly to the right of the guys in front of me and didn't have to put out as much effort. And I kind of let this gap open up, which is actually a really big mistake on my part, because once you go around this corner, there's that headwind that makes it really difficult to close this down. You can see I'm doing an 800 watt dig to try to get back on this wheel, which I should not have had to do. I should have been right there. And then because of that, I wasn't able to close down this gap that the two guys in front of me are opening up. And what I want to talk about is you need to be aware of those gaps. So because I opened up the gap myself when I didn't really have to, I wasn't able to close down this next gap. And, you know, when you have to do that, then you're kind of behind at this point. So I'm trying to work back towards the front when the guys are going full gas. So I'm ending up having to go harder than they are. So it really doesn't, work out well, especially when I'm having to do 800 watt surges out of the corners, which is not good because, again, I'm toasted at this point. So, 4 laps in only, but I was hurting really bad. So, having to do those sprints out of the corners is not good for your legs. It's better to just like hold consistent speed. Maybe you're different, but that's just how I am. I need to hold consistent speed. And here is kind of a crucial moment. I know the top of this section is going to slow down. So I need to go like basically full gas up this and try to close that gap as much as possible, because if I don't, then they're going to be gone. Like I need to catch in that technical section. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to catch them again in that headwind downhill. So for tips for new riders, you need to be aware of the riders around you and how they're feeling, not just yourself. So if gaps are opening up like they are right now, you either need to make sure someone around you is going to close that, or you need to just dig deep and do it yourself. So this gap right here, You know, the field wasn't too far ahead, but look where they're at when we come around here. They're like halfway down this path already. So this race is basically over at this point. Like, you're not going to be able to close that down. But if I just dug deep and closed that gap before that section, I may have made it another couple laps. And generally, the rule of thumb I have is if you can make it halfway through the race, you'll be able to make it through the whole thing. 9.5 times out of 10. If you can make it halfway through the race, you can do the whole thing. So that's got to be your goal. If you keep getting dropped every single race 5 laps in, just try to make it halfway. Don't think it's, you know, this race is 30 laps. Just try to make it 15 laps. That's all you got to do. And once you do that, then you kind of settle into the race. Guys are, you know, are getting through like that slow section, and you should be able to make it the rest of the way. 9.5 times out of 10. So that's a good tip. And again, watch the riders in front of you. If you are letting a gap open, or the riders in front of you are letting a gap open, that needs to be closed almost immediately. So if someone else doesn't do it, you got to do it. And what if you don't have the legs to do it? Well, let's look at the basically probability of you staying with the field. So if no one else around you is going to close that gap and you're just sitting on the wheel because you're super gassed, well, then your probability of catching back on is 0. So you're going to get dropped from the race. But if you just go and give it 110%, like you're going way into the red zone just to try to catch back on, and say you catch back on, then maybe you'll get dropped after that, and then your race is over. But maybe they slow down, then you know you have a chance to just continue on with the race. So, you know, if you can egg someone else on to close that gap down, and you know they're strong and can do it, then yes, stay on their wheel. But if you are, you know, not able to do that, then you just have to close that down and just hope for the best that they slow down. So again, here we are at the slow section, still hurting really bad, but this is like, we can see the field, so they're just coming around that next turn. So if we can just get on the back of that field, you know, there's still a chance. But if we don't get on the back, which we didn't because they're just going around that corner now, and there's about 5 or 6 bike lengths, then it's basically over. And this guy looks back and he's like, I'm done. And this was basically the death sentence, because you know, I'm not gonna be able to close that. Luckily, there was a couple guys behind me that kind of did some work, and I was able to hang on for a little bit longer, but overall, it's not super great. So another tip, if we rewind back to the beginning, you can see that my starting position is actually not too bad. Like, for being in like 150 person crit, being in the top, you know, 30-40 guys is actually not terrible. And watch that curb, because that's actually really took me out. But the mistake I made here is, if you just watch this lap, if we just go through it, you can see how many positions I lose. And, you know, 2 right there, which, why? I don't know. But, you know, there's another one. So just watch how many positions I lose. You know, I let a gap open, lost another 2 positions. So we're already at what, like 10 positions I've lost in just, you know, half a lap almost. So if you are a beginner and just trying to finish your first race, try to get a good starting position, but try to stay up towards the front for that first couple laps, because, you know, the lines are going to be a lot smoother towards the front. You're going to have to do a lot less surging, and, you know, less chance of gaps opening up, because all the weak riders like me are going to be in the back, letting gaps open that you're going to have to close down. So it's really, if you're trying to do your best, you need to stay towards the front. And obviously that's easier said than done. But if you want to see a little video I did about this topic, check it out in the top right corner. It's called like how you know, what if you can't move up or something like that. Watch that, give that video a watch. It's a good one. It's from the Intelligentsia Cup this last year. So yeah, just, you know, I lost a ton of positions in this last little bit, so not great, but you know, hopefully you guys learned something from this video and can, you know, hopefully finish a race better than I can. But again, this was the Joe Martin stage race from 2018. I was thinking about going back this year before this crash happened, but don't think I'm going to have the fitness at this point to do well there in April. But, you know, we'll see what happens. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.